All right, you grab your phone and you jump on your banking app and you check your account balance, and woo! $100,000 has just been deposited in your checking account. It's an inheritance from somebody that you love, like your parents or your grandparents. How do you feel at this moment looking at this whopper of an account balance? Are you excited? Are you relieved? Are you scared out of your mind?
Yeah,
Maybe you're grateful. How are you feeling right now?
I know. And why do you feel that way? So interesting how inheritance money affects people so differently. But really, the next question is more important. What are you going to do with that money?
In this video, we're going to look at what is the best thing to do with your inheritance of $100,000. But we're going to do it better than all the rest because we're not going to present a boring, conventional, suggestion of what to do with that money, nor are we going to give you this radical, contrarian point of view of what you should do with the money, okay? That's two sides of the same coin. We got heads, conventional, tails, contrarian. We're going to present the third side, okay? This gives you the edge. It's the mental edge you need to win your game. We're presenting the conscientious side. The conscientious side is the side that works hard to find the right answer, where we act responsibly, where we regulate our emotions, and we control our finances. We're going to give you the edge on this three-sided coin so you can achieve financial freedom faster, so you can enjoy it longer.
So, huddle up, team. We are John and Tara Thorman, your financial success coaches, and we help entrepreneurs and influencers, business leaders, and the self-employed professionals win their money games and build generational wealth. Most of the entrepreneurs that we've surveyed want greater financial success so they can control their time, they can travel and vacation more often. Well, we are going to help you with that.
We're doing something new and it's exciting. If you subscribe to our channel, like this video, and subscribe to our new team newsletter, we're going to give you for free a $200 hotel savings card. You can use it at over 1 million hotels worldwide and use it as well to save money when you get your next rental car. In addition to that, we're starting a weekly drawing for a vacation certificate valued at up to $1,500. Every week, we're going to do a drawing, and one lucky person is going to win this vacation certificate. It's super simple, right? Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and then join our team newsletter in the description link in the box below, and you could win. Okay, back to this inheritance. What is the best thing for you to do with a $100,000 inheritance? Well, first, maybe let's take a look at what Americans have been doing when they receive that kind of money, okay? We can take a look here. I put up this chart. You can take a look at it. This came from a recent survey, how Americans would spend an inheritance. The focus here, what most people are doing is they're spending the money, right? They're spending the money on purchasing a home or paying off the home. They're spending the money on their previous consumption, which is why they got credit card debt, okay? And they're spending the money on a new indulgence and spending on themselves in the present. So what's missing from this list of spending? Where the heck is the investing, okay? What are they doing to take that money and put it into assets? Everyone's focused on consumption. It's just the way our society is. We're consumerism, right? Rampant. But you can't build wealth with a consumerism mindset, with a spending mindset. You build wealth by acquiring assets. So what we want to do is encourage you to prioritize wealth, to prioritize growing assets over reducing your liabilities. And really, that reminds me of the biblical story of Elisha and the widow with the oil. If you go read that story, take a minute. It's like 2 Kings chapter 4, verses 1 through 7. And the widow comes to the prophet Elisha, and she's all concerned because her dead husband had debt, and the person she owes the money to is coming to take her sons to pay off the debt. So she's like freaking out, as you could well imagine, right? And Elisha says, well, what have you got? And her asset, what she had was some oil. Not a lot either, just a little bit of oil, like a very small amount of oil. And Elisha said, okay, borrow more. He tells her to go borrow more by borrowing as many jars, containers as she possibly could from everybody else in the village, the community, okay? And then the miracle happens. As she starts, what?
I want you to just differentiate. So she had a debt,
Yeah,
and the instruction was, you're going to have more debt because I'm telling you, you need to go borrow. You
Right.
need to borrow vessels for this oil,
right. It's a different debt, but it's more debt,
Right.
right? So,
which is I just find the whole thing so fascinating.
yeah,
So she does, and not just a few, get a
as
bunch.
many as you can, right?
And she does.
And she does.
And she begins filling the jars
Right.
with the oil.
And so once all the jars are full with oil, the oil stops reproducing.
Yeah.
It stops flowing, right? So then she goes back to the prophet and he says, okay, take what you have now, this oil, and sell it so you can pay off your debt and live on what's left over. So here's the lesson for us. Take your asset and multiply it first before you pay off the debt.
And you have one.
Yeah. But this is mind blowing, right? Take the assets and multiply them first before you pay off the debt. And you'll see how this plays out as we go through this today. But it's a completely different paradigm, completely different mindset. Next, I want you to look at your inheritance money, this $100,000 that can be life changing. Look at this money as asset seeds, okay? Instead of oil, these are seeds now, okay? So what can you plant for a future harvest? How can you take these asset seeds and multiply them before you pay off the debt? Your inheritance asset can be the seed capital that you need to fund the purchase of an existing cash flowing business or to create a new business. Your seed capital, once planted, nurtured, and given enough time to mature, can grow into an enormous harvest. Now, there's 3 laws to the harvest. I just want to cover them really quick. Number 1.
You reap what you sow.
Yeah, you do. Right? If you plant apple seeds, you are not going to grow pineapples. Right? It's in kind. You're going to reap in kind what you sowed.
Right.
Number 2.
Reap more than what you sowed.
That's right. If I plant 1 apple seed, I'm going to get a tree that produces a whole bunch of apples. So I'm getting more of what I sowed, right? And number 3.
Reaping later what you sowed.
That's right. So you've got to be patient and disciplined because it's not in the same season that you plant.
Right.
You're always going to harvest in a later season than the one you planted in. And so that becomes really important on what seeds are you planting? Because how much time do you have? Right? If I grow vegetables, I'm going to get vegetables in a few months. Right? If I plant vegetable seeds in the spring, I'm going to harvest, delicious, ripe, fresh vegetables in the fall. I can count on it. But different seeds behave differently, okay? So your inheritance money is just like these asset seeds. And you got to determine what kind of crop do you want to harvest and how long can you wait for it. So the vegetable seeds are going to be quick, right? Plant in the spring, harvest in the fall. But what about fruit trees? What if you plant apple seeds? Okay? Those are going to take you about 5 years before that apple tree is mature enough to start producing apples. Now, this is what's amazing though, okay? If you have the patience and the discipline and the forethought and the time, you plant one time. You can plant an orchard one time, and then in 5 years, you can start harvesting all these apples. And you know what happens? They keep coming year after year after year after year for decades. You're going to harvest apples for decades from one orchard that you planted one time.
Right.
That's completely different than a vegetable garden. You got to go plant every year. So maybe you do both. Maybe there's a combination here. I'm going to plant some vegetable seeds because I need food to eat right this year,
Right.
but I'm also going to plant apple trees because I don't want to keep planting every year. The apple seeds really are a great analogy for me of financial freedom. I can plant this orchard, and after a while, after 5 years or so, I can start harvesting all these apples. I don't need to plant anymore, but every year I'm going to have more apples. All I got to do is prune those trees every year. I just got to maintain and care for those trees. That's financial freedom. You can sell the apples right off the tree, or you can turn those apples into value added products and make even more money, right? Imagine you make apple pies, you can make apple cakes, you can make apple cookies, you can make apple bars, you can make apple crisp,
Strudel.
apple strudel, like your mom. Up in heaven. Mom's apple strudel was amazing. You can make apple turnovers. You can have apple fritters. You can have apple slices with caramel sauce. I mean, it's almost, your imagination, it's almost limitless what you can do with the apples. But look at your inheritance as those apple seeds that you want to multiply before you spend that money.
Right.
So what kind of seeds do you want? Vegetable seeds or fruit seeds? Or both?
Right.
Right? You can have both, and you can have even more options. Here's the thing, though. Most people aren't going to tell you this.
Right.
Most of the gurus tell you right away to pay off your debt and put some money in your emergency fund. I mean, those are all good things, but they're not focused on the most important thing. The priority is not the most important thing, which is assets that can produce cash flow so you can be financially free. That's what we got to focus on. If you focus on paying off all of your debt first, what have you done? You are at zero. You have no seeds. If you sell all your seeds so that you can pay off your debt, how do you grow an orchard?
Okay.
You can't. You have to go back into debt, right? So we got to be smart about this and intentional about this and find some kind of balance. Remember the three-sided coin. It's not all one way. It's not all the other way. There's some way where we can be conscientious. The rich people, the wealthy people, they don't do it that way. What they do is they take that asset, they take that seed capital, okay, and they invest it. They do what Elisha told the widow to do. Go multiply the money you have first before you pay off your debt.
Right.
That's what the wealthy do. Take the asset and multiply it before you pay off the debt, or take the asset and multiply it so that you can go buy more assets and multiply it. That's powerful compounding right there. Now, it's important you understand there is a real risk to receiving an inheritance, right? So I want to encourage you to see if you can hire us to be a financial coach to work with you if you have an inheritance, because it's a risk. It's kind of like the person that wins the lottery, right? Everybody comes out of the woodwork. They all are asking them for money. They party, they spend money on all this crazy stuff. And then in 3 to 5 years, they're broke or bankrupt or worse. Some of them are dead because they didn't know how to handle that much money. And I spoke with a gentleman a couple of weeks ago that had received $83,000, I think it was. It was nearly $100,000 as an inheritance. And it had been several years that he had this money. And it's killing him because he's so fearful. He doesn't know what to do with the money. He doesn't have a financial education. He's not confident. He doesn't know what to do. And so he's gripped with fear and he's doing nothing. Like, how awful is that existence, right? So we got to be really careful about this. Work with a financial coach and come up with the best solution for you. It's not going to be the best. It's not one size fits all.
Right.
Remember, one size fits all fits nobody at all. And that's the value of working with a coach. We can help you come up with the best solution for you. Okay? But take that seed capital and figure out how can we multiply this money into much more money so that we've got more options going forward. Because that's the fastest way to financial freedom. And one study actually reported that more than a third of all inheritors saw no change or they saw a decline in their wealth after getting an inheritance.
Wow.
That's right. Some people are actually worse off a few years after receiving an inheritance than they were before they got the inheritance. Like I said earlier, similar to the lottery effect. So work with a financial coach and get some help. Make better decisions. And this is why we talk about being physically fit, mentally fit, and spiritually fit
Right.
because all three of those areas are going to affect your financial fitness. If you're physically unfit, it has a negative impact on your financial decisions. If you're mentally unfit, it has a negative impact on your financial decisions. And the same with spiritual fitness. So this is everything affects everything. It's a holistic approach here. I want to encourage you then to begin by examining your cash flow and see how you're doing. If your inflows are greater than your outflows, that means your income is much higher than your expenses, then you will have an overflow. You'll have money left at the end of the month that can overflow onto your balance sheet so you can buy assets or so that you can pay off debt. But if it's the reverse, if you're spending more money, if your outflows are greater than your inflows, you're in trouble because now you have a backflow. Now money's got to come from your balance sheet to finance your expenses. So you're either going into debt or you're selling off your assets. That's a bad situation. You don't want to be in it. So maybe for you, the first thing to do is to fix the flow, right? So you get 100 grand. We want to have this mindset about seed capital, about multiplying our money first, about growing assets, okay? So here's what I would suggest as a few steps, maybe 9 steps here to help you out. First, just pause, just take some time, relax, open a new account, a high yield savings account or a money market account, and put your inheritance there so that it's earning as much interest as possible, but it remains completely liquid. But we want it completely separate from all your other money,
Right.
so that it doesn't get commingled and you don't spend it on accident, okay? 2, reflect on the person who gave you the money. What do you think they gave it to you for? What was their purpose? What would they want you to do with it, okay? Take some time to think about it and be grateful and ponder, your options there. What can you learn from them?
Mm-hmm.
What did they do to accumulate all this money that they could even give it to you? Like, there's stuff to learn here. 3, really get clarity on your own personal financial goals, your own financial freedom goals, or your retirement goals. Mm-hmm. How much money do you want to live on that you don't have to work for every day, right? Instead of active income, we're talking about passive and recurring income. Mm-hmm. What is that for you? So you can achieve financial freedom faster, so you can enjoy it longer. Mm-hmm. Or maybe you're just thinking of retirement, at age 65 or 7 or 70, how much money are you going to need? Figure that out. What's your financial freedom number? Mm-hmm. Number 4, give. Mm-hmm. Right?
Secret to living is giving.
That's right. So be sure and give some money away. If nothing else, what it does is it makes you the master of your money instead of your money mastering you.
Right.
Right? That's so important. So always be a giver. Mm-hmm. Give first. Then save some. Right. We're going to give some. We're going to save some. Savings are short term. That is your peace of mind account, right. Possibly your opportunity fund, mm-hmm. right? But we want to give some and then save some. Then number 6, invest some. This is the long-term focus, okay? These are the long-term assets that we're going to have for financial freedom and for retirement and for big cash flow contribution. Then number 7, you can spend some, mm-hmm. okay? Now spending, remember, could be you already spent it and it's on your credit card, so you're going to pay off some credit card right. balances, mm-hmm. or you're going to spend some now in the present on some fun, adventure, excitement, indulgence, whatever. But you can do that too. So give some, save some, invest some, and spend some, mm-hmm. right? Now, the best investments that you can make are the ones in yourself. And I really want to encourage you with, we've got a new financial coaching program. We've got one-on-one financial coaching options. Invest some money in your financial education in yourself so that you can improve your mindset and your skill set and your tool set. Because if you do that, you'll get more assets, okay? And those assets can produce cash flow, and that gives you financial freedom. And then lastly, point number 9 is I want you to really consider what asset classes you know the best and love the most or most passionate about. Wall Street's got everybody pegged into stocks, bonds, and cash, and maybe a little bit of real estate in a REIT. Well, the world is much bigger than that, okay? So you got to think beyond Wall Street and Main Street and look at what your options are. Maybe, well, what we do know is that the wealthiest people are wealthy because they built a business. So that's the best asset class. The next one are real estate. There's so many people that are millionaires because of real estate. So business is one, asset or real estate are two. Three, I like is trading options. And here's why. Those three asset classes give you cash flow, leverage, and appreciation. Those are the three things you got to have for accumulating wealth. But there's other stocks on the public stock exchanges, bonds, cash, but there's gold and silver, there's cash value life insurance, there's annuities, there's bonds, there's T-bills and notes, there's private money lending, commodities, currency, crypto. There's a whole bunch of asset classes. So what are you most passionate about? What do you know about, or what are you willing to invest in, to learn about, so that you can be a better manager, right? And then, of course, there's all kinds of alternative investments. Wine. You know, you can invest in wine. I thought you would like that one. Artwork, watches, life settlements, crowds, there's all kinds of stuff. But your inheritance has the potential to change your family tree forever. Perhaps a magnificent fruit tree, right? So make this count. Reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you, and we can be your money coaches. See if you qualify for financial coaching with us, but we can help you make the best decision for you, not be gripped by fear, not screw this up and be broke in 3 to 5 years from now like so many others do, and not miss out on this opportunity to really build wealth and change your family tree, really your dynasty, right? So remember, get your $200 hotel savings card and get entered into our weekly vacation certificate giveaway worth up to $1,500 at dozens of locations worldwide. These are luxury resorts. They're awesome. Just by subscribing to our channel, liking this video, and then joining our team newsletter in the description link below. Love you guys so much. We're so thankful to be here, and I would love to hear your comments down below as well. But in the meantime, have a great week, and we'll see you on the next video.